Good morning, all. It's Aisha Chidoe from the Chidoe Law Firm. I'm a trademark attorney here in Orlando, Florida, but I represent clients all over the United States and internationally for those who are interested in trademarking their brand within the United States of America. So today, in Lipsticks and Trademarks, I want to talk about what happens if you apply for a trademark after doing a search thinking your mark is good to go, and then you find out that your mark causes a potential likelihood of confusion with another mark. So before I get into that, real quick, the lipstick I'm wearing today is one of my faves. It's called Dance With Me. It's a matte, retro matte lipstick, and I love it. So let's dig in. So what do you do when a mark is basically rejected because of likelihood of confusion? Don't panic. So the first thing we want to establish is you want to do some research on the mark, right? And you want to do some research on the mark and really assess the situation, because sometimes, an examiner might say a mark will cause a likelihood of confusion, and, it's subjective. It's subjective. But if you feel that there's a way you can differentiate your mark, there are two things that you can do. First of which is you can reach out to the current trademark owner and see if they will agree to a coexistence agreement, which basically means, listen, I have this mark I want to trademark. You have this mark that's already trademarked. And, personally, it doesn't seem that the marks are in conflict. We've never had any issues since we've both been doing business. Are you willing to coexist? Where we both can coexist and draft an agreement that we can submit to the trademark examiner so they know that, there's not going to be an issue. If you're lucky, they may agree, or sometimes they may ask for a financial consideration in order for them to do that. What I will say though is before you reach out asking for a certain agreement of coexistence with the other party, you always want to do a search and check if you actually have priority over that mark. And what I mean by priority is that sometimes you might have started a business, before somebody else, but you just didn't take the initiative to go and register your mark, and somebody else then registered their mark and then they got the trademark. So, if it's something that you basically have priority over, one of the things that you can do is remind them of that you have priority over them. And so technically their mark can be canceled, if it's not reached the incontestable stage of trademark. So that's something that you can use for your leverage if you are ever in that situation, or, try and see if you get a coexistence agreement. If that doesn't work and you feel that your mark is not confusingly similar to the other party, then you have the opportunity to make a legal argument. I do not recommend you as a regular person try and make a legal argument, quoting precedents and laws. I recommend at that point, if you've never used an attorney throughout this process for your trademark, this is a good time to use an attorney, and have a proper, an attorney that is well-versed in, trademarks, draft and arguments, providing exhibits and proof showing that your mark is not going to cause a likelihood of confusion, because it's very different from this mark. The channels of trade are different. There's no way that the consumers or customers that they serve are going to confuse one mark or the other, and then you put in that argument. And then if that argument fails, then at that point, of course, you've given it your all. I mean, so when you get, a rejection, your first rejection based on a likelihood of confusion, don't panic. At that point, if you haven't used an attorney up until that point, that is a good time to get an attorney, because, they can then, look at the situation and, give you strategies on which direction or path, you should take first, to try and get your mark, approved. So as always, I'm an attorney, but not your attorney. This video is for educational and informational purposes. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you or anybody is filing a trademark and find themselves in this situation, I'm more than happy to assist them, to try and get that mark. My number here is 407-995-6567. I'd love if you could share and click on the love button on this video. Until next time, have a wonderful weekend.